Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone having a blessed day, blessed week, blessed weekend. There's something that was placed on my heart that I really feel like we need to talk about that's swept on a rug a lot. And it's crazy because there's a negative stigma surrounding mental health. Like, instead of seeking professional help for conditions such as depression or anxiety, many in the community, especially in our Black community, resort to things such as drugs, alcohol, opioids, and in isolation in an attempt to solve their problems on their own. And so I was reading and going through some things, and it brought me up to when I thought about this, it brought me to Delonte West. And for those who don't know who Delonte West is, Delonte West was a pro basketball player. Delonte West was born in Washington, D.C., July 26, 1983. His childhood was littered with stints of children's hospitals after he swallowed pills and began cutting himself. So even the smallest things sent him into a rage. I know one time they talked about he couldn't afford an AAU basketball trip. He didn't see his father enough, and he wanted to lay the Jordans, and it caused him to have major issues mentally. So Delonte, he went to Eleanor Roosevelt High School in Green Blanc, Maryland. He excelled at basketball. He led the Raiders to their first tournament appearance. They made it to the Maryland 4A championship. He was named Washington Post All Basketball Player of the Year due to his scoring average. He was averaging 20 points per game, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 steals per game. And then Delonte committed himself to St. Joseph University. And in college, he averaged 13.9 points per game, 4.2 rebounds, 3 assists in 3 seasons. He was drafted then by the Boston Celtics in 2004 with the 24th pick. And his first season with Boston, he struggled. He struggled with injuries, and he only played 39 games, and he mostly came off the bench. He averaged, 4.5 points per game, 1.7 rebounds, and 1.6 assists per game in his first year. But in 2007, during the 2007 draft, the Celtics traded Delonte to the Supersonics, the Seattle Supersonics. They traded him along with Jeff Green and their 5th overall pick for Wally Serbiak and Ray Allen, and the Sonics' 35th overall pick, which was Glenn Davis. So on February 21st, 2008, West was traded again to the Cleveland Cavaliers. And as a Cavalier, Delonte West played 26 regular season games that year, and he started all 26 of them, the ones he played, and he averaged 10 points, 4.5 assists, 3.7 rebounds, along with 1 steal per game. And in September of 2008, West signed a 3-year deal worth $12.7 million. And so things were starting to look up for Delonte after being traded twice and the different things he dealt with in his childhood. He got paid, and he was playing decent, and he was playing for a contender. But then West was diagnosed with bipolar disorder following a preseason game in 2008. He had exploded on the official in that game, and he realized he needed a break. So he took a break from the Cavaliers for about 2 weeks, and he returned to the Washington area where he grew up, where he sought counseling and began to take some medication for what he was dealing with. He had separated from his wife just a few weeks after getting married, and he felt consumed by heartache. And then on the night of September 17, 2009, West was pulled over for improper lane change as he rode his 3-wheeler, and it was on Route 214, not far from his Washington home. He told the officer he had a handgun in his waistband. And as the police continued to search, they found 3 guns. They found a Beretta in his waistband. They found a Ruger. And then he had a strap on his leg and a shotgun in a guitar case swung over his back. And each gun was loaded. So West pled guilty to 2 of the 8 charges he faced and was sentenced to 8 months of home detention, 2 months of probation, and 40 hours of community service. The incident was much of West's career that followed was reviewed through a prism of mental illness. He blew through his money. And in 2011, West signed with the Dallas Mavericks. During that season in 2011, it actually was an NBA lockout. So Delonte applied for a job at Home Depot and worked briefly at a furniture store. The Dallas Mavericks actually happened to be the last team that Delonte West ever played for. They gave him a try. The stint only lasted less than a year. He was suspended twice in October 2012 for conduct detrimental to the team. And then the Dallas Mavericks, they said, you know what? We're going to wash our hands of you. And they waived him. West made more than $14 million in his career. But during the lockout, he sold off his cars, his jewelry, and was actually living in the Mavs locker room for a while. West said he tried to rent with a lot of places, but they wouldn't take him because of his criminal record. And so recently, as I was reading, it shocked me, they found Delonte West homeless on the street. After making over almost $14 in his career, this man is homeless on the street. We remember him playing with LeBron James and Larry Hughes when LeBron just got in the league and the Cavs was just starting to become good again. We all remember Delonte West. Now he's homeless on the street. And as a kid, it was clear that his bipolar disorder was ignored. No one took it serious. Oh, he'll get over it. Give him some time. He's just dealing with this. Once he makes it, he'll get better and blah, 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 blah. People just ignored it. No one took the time out to say, man, we got to get this young man some help, some assistance. This is not right. He's dealing with some demons. Instead of getting him assistance, giving him help, we do what we always do in our community. We sweep it under the rug. It reminds me of a litter box. Cats, if you got a cat poops in the litter box and it covers their poop up. But guess what? Until you dump it out, the poop is still in there. And instead of getting Delonte some assistance, everyone ignored it. So I did some research. Here's some of the symptoms of people who are bipolar. You may have someone in your family, someone you may be related to, someone at your job, someone you love, someone you may be dating. Here's some of the symptoms. Depressed, irritable mood most of the day, nearly every day during a depressive episode. They have suicidal thoughts or behavior, risky and reckless behaviors that are out of character, alcohol or drug abuse, wild spending sprees. Mood swings that are different from their usual mood swings. That's something to keep an eye on. And we need to keep in mind a number of childhood disorders cause bipolar, like including attention deficit, ADHD, conduct disorder, anxiety disorder, major depressions. Diagnosis can be challenging because these and other mental health conditions often occur along with bipolar disorder. Now, I also have a few helpful tips. If you know anyone who may be dealing with mental illness, you need to educate yourself. Knowledge is power. The more you know about bipolar disorder, the more you'll be able to help these people. The more you'll be able to help your loved ones, the more you'll be able to assist them. For instance, understanding the symptoms in depressive episodes can help you react appropriately during a severe mood changes. A lot of times we don't know how to assist those who are dealing with depression and anxiety. And instead of helping them because we don't have the education, we just step back. One thing you can do is listen. See, you don't have to always provide answers or advice to be helpful. In fact, simply just being a good listener is one of the best things you can do for someone dealing with bipolar disorder, especially when they want to talk to you about the challenges they are facing. Just be a listening ear. You don't have to have the answers. You don't have to just talk and try to help them figure out. Just listen. Let them get it off their chest. Let it get it off their back. They're dealing with something, and a lot of times they don't have anyone to talk to, anyone they trust to talk to, so they carry it around. Let them get it out. Let them spit it up. Offering your acceptance and understanding can go a long way in helping those who are dealing with depression and anxiety. Not feeling judged really helps. We live in a world and a society where people judge you for doing this, for doing that, for dressing this way, for looking this way, for doing for liking this and not liking that. Being offers of acceptance and not judging them will really make them feel comfortable in their condition. And that's why a lot of folks won't open up and tell you what they're dealing with and what they're going through, because they're scared they're going to get judged, talked about, and so on and so forth. So your support goes a long way. Something else you can do: support and don't push. We're very pushy, very pushy. We want people to tell us their problems, and no, be relaxed, be supportive, but don't be pushy. Your support can be very helpful. So your support can be helpful to a person with bipolar disorder. However, you need to know that when you step back and let a medical or mental health professional intervene, it's still good to have you in the midst. It's still good to know that you are there and you have their back. Now, while people with bipolar disorder are capable of making conscious decisions, you need to understand when their moods and behaviors are out of their control. Anyone, regardless how strong they are, anyone, I don't care how strong they may appear, we all want to be, especially men, we all want to be Superman. We all want to be the Rock. We never want anyone to see us sweat. We never want to seem like we're weak. But anyone, regardless how strong they are, how much they appear to have it all together, may be struggling with their mental health. Life is hard. Life is exhausting. There's plenty of obstacles and mountains we have to go through. Our past fights us every single day. Life can be just too much to deal with sometimes. So whoever you are, you're not alone in your pain, and you're not weak or less than because you're hurting. That's part of being a human. It's hurting and being broken. It's time that we reach out and ask for help, because that's what it takes to achieve the true healing we need. We have so many people that's been broken for far too long, pretending that everything is okay. Reach out for help. Get some assistance. And if you know someone who's dealing with depression or anxiety or bipolar, don't dismiss it. Don't sweep it under the rug. Help them. Be supportive. Be that ear. Be that shoulder that they can lean on. Because if Delonte had that assistance and someone was, you know what, we're going to get you some help, man. We're here for you. We're going to lift you up. We're going to keep you encouraged. Maybe his story would have turned out a little differently.